This week on Eagan AM.
Robotics.
The North Shore waterfalls.
And the Wildcat world of sports.
Live from Studio 1A, this is Eagan AM.
Good morning, I'm Noah Harstead.
And I'm Rachel Suka.
Our FRC robotics team is going to Detroit for a world competition at the end of this month.
Robotics competitions can be confusing for those unfamiliar with them.
We caught up with some students to shed some light on this event.
Robotics is, it's a competition where we build robots. Every year there is a new competition. They give us a challenge and we have to try and design a robot to complete this challenge and to win at the game.
So we get the competition or the game for that year in January, and then that is our day one or zero. And then we have 6 weeks after that to build a robot and get it bagged for competition. And after that 6 weeks, we don't have any more time to work on that robot unless we're at a competition in our pits.
So essentially a robotics competition consists of around 40 teams come together and they put their robot that they've built over the past 6 weeks to test, and we compete in 3 versus 3 alliances. And it's essentially a competition to show what your work is about and how well it performs on the field.
One big stereotype about robotics is that everybody on the team is like nerdy and smart, and well, it's sort of true. There's some truth to it, but it does not apply to everybody on the team.
And it's not an all-boys activity because there are actually 50% girls on our team. We have our team structured as mechanical, control, and MTR, and they do everything that isn't on the robot. So they do things like timesheets or writing grants. Mechanical, they do all of like the building, like the structure of the robot. So that's like the metal stuff, like welding or drilling, or like the physical aspects of the robot. Control, they do all of like the inner working, wiring, things that make the robot drive.
Well, one of the big benefits of robotics is if you're going into an engineering or a STEM field, it really helps give you a base for robotics and like the whole process of designing, actually putting it all together, manufacturing and producing the robot.
With the end of the year fast approaching, the rush to find college roommates begins.
We have more information with Ethan on this week's Tech Talk.
Thanks, guys. So this week is going to be a little bit different for Tech Talk. We're going to be discussing roommates. With college coming up, we wanted to touch on different ways that you can find a roommate for college. The first thing you should do before even starting the process of finding a roommate is to register for housing to make sure you secure your spot in the residence hall that you want to be in. To start your search, you should join the official college Facebook page. These Facebook pages are full of helpful information, plus a lot of people use the Facebook page to introduce themselves. If you don't want to use the Facebook page to find a roommate, you may want to check out websites like RoomSurf or RoomSync. These websites are extremely helpful in finding potential roommates and only require a Facebook account to sign up. That's all I have for you this week. Good luck to all of the seniors out there who are still deciding which college to head off to or simply who to room with after high school. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ethan.
Slowly but surely, we're saying goodbye to winter and hello to spring.
We sent Rachel to find out more about some of the fun waterfalls up on the North Shore.
Spring finally approaches and the snow and ice starts to melt away. Minnesota is seeing higher than average water levels. This means that the waterfalls, especially along the North Shore, are attracting many more sightseers to their majestic displays. We caught up with 2 teachers who had more insight into what exactly a trip to a waterfall entails.
So the best is hiking. In the summer you can hike. A lot of the state parks have trails that go up along the sides of them.
Spend some time with photography, trying to get cool angles. I would say you definitely want to be prepared for weather. You never know what old Gitchagumi Lake Superior can bring, so you definitely want to have a rain jacket, proper clothing.
Good footwear, make sure you know where you're at, so GPS or a map, water. So Gooseberry Falls is right on the highway, so there's a big bridge that goes over it and a beautiful visitor center. It's actually a series of waterfalls, so there's like 3 of them.
And this year with all the snow, it should be a pretty pretty good year for the waterfalls. I would say my favorite waterfall is one located on the Split Rock River Loop, just north of Duluth, north of Gooseberry Falls, in fact.
My favorite is actually kind of not, it's a waterfall, but it's not really a waterfall, and it's on the Devil's Track River.
I would say my most memorable waterfall experience would have happened when I was 16 years old on my first SSI trip as a student here at Eagan High School. We found a beaver dam, and we kind of spent the day playing in the waterfall, kind of taking a bath more or less, sitting back, letting the waterfall massage our shoulders. It was very nice after a long day of canoeing.
Head up the North Shore, there's a ton of them. There's probably 15 waterfalls. Some are the more famous ones, you know, Gooseberry and the big ones, but there's some really small, cool ones that you can actually like hike up the river, you know, be ready to get wet.
Clearly, there's no shortage of fun activities around the waterfalls. Make sure and go visit one this spring. Signing off for Eagan AM, I'm Rachel Keisler.
Thanks, Rachel. Those falls should be even bigger with the additional snowfall coming this weekend.
With spring driver tests approaching, we have some info on EHS parking for students planning to buy a pass next year.
For the EHS lot, parking permits are $80 per trimester on a first-come, first-served basis.
People who aren't able to get a pass in the main lot usually park in the Northview Park tennis courts lot.
Or, as the students have dubbed it, the loser lot.
While it is free parking, you do have to walk farther.
In an attempt to avoid this, some people park without a pass in the main lot.
But before you try this as an alternative, the consequences for this include being ticketed or possibly towed.
You can also lose the ability to apply for a parking pass the next trimester, or for third-try seniors, your senior privileges.
If you have any questions about parking, see Mr. McDonald.
The senior badge design submission date has been extended to this Friday.
Turn in your design ASAP and you can win a prize if yours is chosen. Badges will be passed out on May 8th and seniors will wear them for the remainder of the year.
Here are a couple of designs from previous years that may inspire your creativity.
There are a couple of requirements to follow, such as it must have a place for the seniors to put their name.
Now let's hand it over to Michael with the WCR.
Hey, I'm back. I missed you guys. While we wait for the seasons to begin due to the snow, we have a list of each sport that has been canceled this week. There was a track meet that was supposed to be on Tuesday. That got canceled. Softball has played all of their games inside so far this year. Baseball games, they're not playing outside either. Those are postponed or canceled. And of course, all golf courses aren't going to let any golfers get around in anytime soon. Let's just hope they get outside before June. There's still a track meet tonight at Farmington, so if you're digging some spring sports, go out to the track. Girls lacrosse is canceled today, but is still scheduled to play their games next week. Because of all these cancellations and not having any games to cover this week, we also wanted to give a shout out to captain of the volleyball team, pit captain, and my twin sister, McKenna Melville, who won the Gatorade Player of the Year for her success in volleyball. She had 416 kills, a kill percentage of 49.1%, 290 digs, a hit percentage of 39.9%. Not only was she the highest scorer for the Cats, she also had the highest assist rating too. We have Miss Setter live with McKenna. Take it away, Miss Setter.
The Gatorade Player of the Year is given to the top athlete in the state in a given sport, and it represents athletic excellence, academic achievement, and exemplary character. And McKenna Melville is Minnesota's volleyball Gatorade Player of the Year this year. We have only had 2 other athletes in our history that have gotten this award. One is Sarah Moulton in softball, and the other is Taylor McNeil in volleyball. We are so proud of you, McKenna Melville, for being our Gatorade Player of the Year in volleyball. Congratulations. State of Minnesota Player of the Year, McKenna Melville. This banner will go up in our gym that will represent McKenna's achievement and will be hung in the gym today. So congratulations again, McKenna. We're very, very proud of you. And back to you, Michael, because we have some interesting information on the Minnesota State High School League and some new rules for baseball and softball.
Thanks, Ms. Setter. Minnesota State High School League does have some new rules for baseball and softball games. In order to make up all of the games that have been canceled or postponed, teams may agree to play a doubleheader with each game being only 5 innings each. This is designed to get caught up after all the snow. Hopefully there aren't too many more games to be canceled. That's all for the WCR this week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Michael.
Be sure to pick up your copy of Magical Moments in the ITC. You can still order one, but they will soon be gone.
That's all we have for you this week, Eagan.
Have a great day, Wildcats.
Take a seat, right over there, sat on the stairs, stay or leave. The cabinets are bare and I'm unaware of just how we
Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. No, I'm gon' ball, yeah. No way I can fall, yeah. They predict the next fall.